occupational therapists can do it to the children. All right. Okay, so as for therapists out there, and then for the occupational therapy students who are engaged in this session, you should be able actually to differentiate between sensory-based intervention and sensory integration therapy. So this is actually the differences between sensory-based intervention and sensory integration therapy. Okay, let's move to the training. Okay, because I would like to focus more on giving the information to the parent. So I'll just keep the slide for the difference between sensory-based and sensory integration therapy. So as I told you earlier, training is actually a task to break. Is training actually a step that we can use to break down the task into small steps. Okay, for example, I'll provide you with an example here is brushing teeth. Okay, so brushing teeth, there is a five step. Okay, so the 5 step is the small step in the brushing teeth. Okay. Okay, for example, step number 1, the child should wet the toothbrush, and the second, they should put the toothpaste on the brush, and then they should brush the teeth, and then number 4, they should spit in the sink. Okay, and last one, they should rinse the toothbrush. Okay, all right. So that is the definition of training, and in the training, there are 3 different types of training. Okay, the first one is total task training. Total task training means that if you walk all the steps to the child, or if you do all the steps to the child, we call it total task training. Okay. And forward training is when you teach the first step to the child. So meaning that the child should do the first step, and the last 4 steps in the toothbrush brushing are completed by you. Okay, so this is the definition of forward training, meaning that you teach the first step first. Okay, so when is to use a forward training? Okay, for you, a forward training is very good to improve the momentum of the child, or to improve the motivation of the child. Okay, because why? Because the first step normally the easier one. So let the child do the first step first, and then you complete second, third, and fourth. 4 and 5 steps, and let's say that the child able to do the first step, and then you need to ask the child to do first two step, step number 1 and step number 2, until she or he can complete all the steps in the training. Okay. And actually, for the backward chaining, it is reverse to the forward chaining, where normally we will teach the last step to the child, or the child need to do the last step, and the first 4 steps will be done by you or by the teacher or by parents. Okay. All right. Okay, so when is to use backward chaining? If the child can complete the last step, so you can use the backward chaining. Okay, and the good thing about using the backward chaining is because it's to the ultimate goal of the task. So after they complete the last task, we can celebrate it, or we can provide the reinforcement, and this is also can improve the motivation of the child to engage or to improve their self-help skill. But in the training, of course, you need to have a skill that we call it task analysis skill, which is a very simple skill. Actually, it's just a skill to break down the task into small steps until it can be implemented by the child, and until it is easier for the child to do it step by step. Okay. All right, to the next one is video modeling. Okay, video modeling is very good for the child with non-verbal communication. Okay, so normally video modeling is integrate chaining in the video modeling. So they break tasks into small steps, and in the video, normally they will use simple instruction, and the language used is a layman language that is easier for the child to follow. And the last one, the model in the video can be parents, can be peers, can be sibling, or can be the child itself. Okay. All right, and then we're going to discuss about prompting and fading. So why I merge prompting and fading together? Because prompting is the help that is provided by the teachers or by the parent, and fading is the act of reducing the prompting. Okay. All right, so prompting is also known as cues, hint, or checklist. Okay, and the type of prompting, it can be physical, verbal, modal, gestural, visual, positional. Okay, for the physical, when you physically guiding to perform skill. Okay, as we discussed in graduated graduated guidance just now. Okay. All right, and the next one is verbal. Okay, verbal. You can prompt the child by providing the verbal instruction. Okay, or by providing the feedback to the child. For example, well done. You did a good work. Okay, all right. And the next one is modal. Modal meaning that you have to demonstrate the desired skill. Let's say that you want to teach feeding independently. So you have to demonstrate to the child how to bring the food from the plates to the mouth. Okay. And the next one is gestural, when you use your gesture. Okay, your gesture, your body language, for example, pointing to provide the cues or provide the prompt to the children. And the next one is visual. Visual can be a picture, symbol, or text. And lastly is positional, is the placing of material in a location or sequence. Okay, all right. The next one is fading. Fading is actually the act of reducing the prompting. Okay, so the first one, we as a teachers or we as a parent, we need to know when we should reduce the prompt. Okay, so it can be graded by force, time, and speeds. Okay, for the force, for the physical guidance, so of course we can start with the high physical guidance to low physical guidance. Okay, for the time, we can start with immediate to delay prone. Okay, for example, we can automatically we should start with the direct instruction, and then after that we should move to the delay prompt. Okay, and the next one is the space between the child and you or a parent or teacher. So probably during the first skill teaching, you have to sit close to the child and gradually away from the child as the child progress. Okay, so that's why we can maintain the self-help skill in the children with autism. So we should use prompting and fading concurrently. All right, so this is an example for you to better understand about prompting and fading. All right, so the first picture here, if you can see my cursor, okay, this is the visual cues for the dressing, okay, and this is the graduated guidance. Hence, the teacher's hand is over the child's hand in order to help the child to write. And the next one is the therapist use the gesture to points or to provide a prompt to the patient. And this is the example of cues as well. And this is example of symbol that you can put in the door of the toilet, for example, or you can have another symbol to help the children with autism living their life independently, okay, if they need the visual cues.